Alright, we're really getting into the summer movie season now, and if there is any time where a movie needs to be good, it is now. Man of Steel. Okay, so I'm sure you know what Man of Steel is about. It's basically, it shows Krypton and they send Kal-El down to Earth because it's about to blow up and everyone's gonna die, and they believe that he can be a god of a world. He can be like, you know, the big everything. But Kal-El on Earth is raised as a boy, is raised as a human, and you see that through flashbacks because it mainly follows his adult life. You know, it shows him on Deadliest Catch and he goes and he like saves a bunch of people, and then it shows him, you know, moving on and seeing everything, but it shows his childhood in flashbacks, which I really liked, being able to see it in flashbacks, because I loved Batman Begins. That was great. That was probably the best origin story there was. But in this one, I kind of felt the flashbacks were a little bit choppy. But even though they were cool, they were just a little bit choppy and kind of like just thrown in there. It was weird the way they did it, but I still thought it was pretty cool. And then we move on a little bit, and then that's when he finds his Superman suit, and that's when you're like, okay, things are starting to pick up, things are starting to get into it now. But the way he finds it is just super fast, and it's like, whoa. That was quick. You know, I'm focusing on the problems because I went into this expecting just like another Dark Knight, but I was a little bit disappointed with it. Even though it was a good movie, it was a really, really good movie, I was more disappointed with it than I thought I would be. I'll focus on some good things. After he gets a Superman suit and he's first flying around, it was actually more realistic than any of the Superman movies, because when he's flying up, it shows him like breaking the sound barrier and everything. It's like that's what would really happen, and as he's flying, he reacts like a normal human being would if they finally found out that they could fly. Like, instead of flying, he's just not just like, you know, he's like, ha, I'm flying, hey, look at me, I'm flying, ha ha. You know, that's how a normal human being would react. And I liked seeing that because that was so cool how that happened. And then we go on a little more, and then you finally see General Zod. I mean, you saw him at the beginning of the movie on Krypton. I'm going to focus on Krypton real quick. Krypton was awesome in this. I mean, you saw it for a good 20 minutes. You're on Krypton for a while. You introduce General Zod, and then you introduce Kal-El's dad, or Clark Kent's dad, and you see them all fighting, and you see how Krypton explodes, and it's like, that's really cool. And now General Zod is back, and he's like, okay, well, we need him back, otherwise we're going to destroy your planet. You get to see Superman and General Zod have their fights, and the last 45 minutes of this movie is a fight scene. And this fight scene is awesome. But even the action was really cool in this movie, but in this case, I'm just gonna say less action could have been more. That being said, I'm not saying I hated the action in this movie. It was really cool, you know, them picking up trains and hitting each other with it and everything. But it was basically the same thing repeating itself, like them flying through buildings. It's like, okay, I've seen it like 3 times now. I don't need to see it again because I know exactly how it's going to happen. It's just a lot of CGI and stuff like that, which, you know, the action was awesome. I loved it in this movie, but they overdid it. By the time I was done with it, by the time it got to the final battle between him and General Zod, I was exhausted. But, you know, that being said, it was really cool. Lois Lane and Clark Kent's relationship in this movie was believable. It was a little bit rushed, but it was extremely believable because of, like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you know, if you've seen it, the thing that happens at the end that's different than all the other Superman movies, I loved, because it was just like, that's more realistic. That's what would really happen. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But in the end, I'll say the Man of Steel had great action. It had a really cool story. It was a little choppy in the beginning and a little too much action, but that doesn't hold back the movie from being really good. I'm going to say that Man of Steel is worth buying on Blu-ray. Okay, my question to you is, what is your favorite superhero movie of all time? Mine, The Dark Knight, hands down. Comment below and let me know. As always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.